Hey, hey, boss. Hey, how are you today? To go down here, aka SistaSense. Always excited to share things you can do to work on your money, your marketing skills too, with strategy and intention. As you know, new agenda. For the next couple of days, we're going into the book business experience so that I can talk to my authors, creatives, and entrepreneurs about some smart things that you can do to work on your big book business revenue. I have some amazing speakers in the virtual building all week. We're going to have so much fun. Today, the first day, we're kicking things off with my girl, Carla. She is a best-selling author. She is a coach. She is a minister. She has her own publishing company, Canon Publishing. I cannot say enough about Carla. I'm super excited to have her here because today what we're going to do is talk to you about how to write like a boss. So, number one, come on in, come on in, come on in. Share this out because sharing is caring. That's what it's all about. Tag your business besties. Of course, if you're catching us on the replays side, you can always drop into the comment box. Hashtag replays rock. So make sure that you guys are ready to take lots of notes and have lots of fun. My girl Carla is in the virtual waiting room. Let me get her in on the screen so you guys can dig in to our session today. Hey,
Hey, thank you
Trailblazer.
so much for having me.
Oh my goodness, you are rocking and rolling. When I say this sister girl right here, she is publishing books for herself. She's publishing books for her clients. She's one of the people that you need to know when it comes to growing your book business. Carla, welcome, welcome. Tell them about yourself. Come on, Trailblazer. Let them know who
Oh,
you are and what you do.
awesome sauce. Thank you so much, LaShonda. I take my hat off to you. I commend you. Absolutely love SistaSense. So excited to be a part of this community. We both, resided in Greenville, North Carolina. And so just did some great things. And so I just want to, before I talk about me, I want to honor your platform, say thank you, thank you. I never take it for granted.
Thank
When you
you.
call me and you say, hey, be a part, I was like, listen, I'm going to make it happen. Anytime LaShonda call, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna make it happen because you produce results
Yes,
and your heart
ma'am.
really is for women. You're really all about, teaching women how to fire up their focus, make money online, get it done, really maximize and monetize with many gifts that God has given us. And so for that, we honor you. Come on, y'all. Let's honor LaShonda. We gotta learn how to
Thank
get proper
you.
order. We don't honor properly. We talk a lot about sisterhood, but we fail walking that thing out. And so I
Come
want to
on.
say thank you. This thing is not about me. It's about us building women together. And so my name
Yes.
is Carla Arcanen, the Trailblazer. And so what I do is I teach boss women how to bankroll their business to how to bulletproof their business to bankroll their brand. And so the ultimate goal is teaching you strategy so you can monetize your message, you can turn your storm into a story, your mess into a message, and your purpose and pain into profit. So that's in essence just a few things that I do. And I'm grateful to be here today. Thank you so much, LaShonda.
As always, I love when I can share with you guys amazing women like Carla Cannon. Good morning. Good morning. Feel free to drop in here and say, hey, 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 let us know who you are and where you are in this beautiful world today. We are going to dig in, y'all, about what it takes, right? Yes, with extra S's. We're going to dig in, y'all, about what it takes to write like a boss today. But before we do, let me just have Carla share with you a little bit about her story because she's writing like a boss all day, every day. What inspired you to put pen to paper and start to share some of your story and your words of wisdom with others?
Absolutely. So my story, a lot of what I've been through started in childhood. I experienced a lot of childhood traumas, labeled as behaviorally, emotionally handicapped, placed on Ritalin. I just had a lot of
Mm,
labels. I was my mother's problem child. And so, unfortunately, because of what was poured into me during the years of 5 to 8 years old, those are our developmental years. I took those with me and journeyed through my teenage years. Even some of it followed me into adulthood. So I had a poor mindset, poor self-image, even though I didn't look like it. Come on, because we think because we got on eyeliner, lipstick, and we rocking the apparel that. But I was so broken on the inside and just grew up in a very dysfunctional home. My father was absent. I was physically abused by my stepfather. I should have been another statistic. I got pregnant with my daughter my senior year in high school, barely graduated from high school, y'all, and just had so many stigmas, so many just false labels. And so I wrote my first book in 2013 called The Power in Waiting. What do you do when what God said doesn't line up with what you see? And the purpose of
Mm,
that book was to let people know, like, listen, you have the power to change the narrative to your story. What happened is what happened. Where you were is where you were. What took place is what took place. But now what you're going to do with it. So that's where
right.
I get the concept of transforming your storm into a story, your mess into a message, and your pain and purpose into profit, baby. So, like most people say, I don't look like what I've been through, but for me, instead of allowing education, right, the tradition, I'm all for education, but that's not what defines me. What causes me to be credible are my experiences. Is
Yeah.
I didn't get stuck in what I was experiencing. So I believe book knowledge is good, but when you experience life, man, we all have a story. That's why I believe everybody should write a book. You have a story, you have something to impart, and you have a legacy to leave behind. So that's, there's so many elements to our stories, but
Mm,
overall, that was kind of my foundational points that caused me to step out and say, listen, I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one that was
absolutely.
told they would never make it. I'm not the only teenage mom. I'm not the only one. And so I just wanted to provide a message of hope and inspiration to women.
See, that is power right there. And for anybody listening right now, whether you're listening live or via the replays, I need you to write this down, put it into the comment box, take it to heart. I have a story to tell. We all have
Absolutely.
a story to tell. And if you want to do this like a boss, even with the things that we've gone through, a part of us has to be able to put this out. You got to do this with confidence, right? And you've got to understand that your story matters. There's value and there's somebody waiting for you to share that story with others. I think it's remarkable that in everything that Carla has gone through has set her up for success, right? And every stripe has positioned her to be in a space to share her story and say, somebody else needs to hear this. And I'm going to put that foot forward and help somebody pull somebody up behind me. And I want you guys to think about that as well. Because some of you're battling with insecurity, right? You're battling with low self-esteem. You want to build this business, you want to do it like a boss, but things are holding you back. So hopefully in today's story, Carla can inspire you to put that pen to paper, find your purpose, and make that story something that you share with others, right? Yes, thank you, Levon. I have a story to tell and even to sell. I was about to say sell, but as entrepreneurs too, right? A story to tell,
Come on.
to sell, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be quiet, y'all, because what I want to do is have Carla kick off the conversation and talk more about some things that you all need to consider when it comes to writing like a boss.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, LaShonda, again. So when I began to think about, okay, write like a boss, I actually have an ebook called Write Like a Boss. And I was like, okay, what angle, there's so many different ways we could go. And what I thought about was selling strategies, right? So as you're considering writing your book, of course, you want to think about content creation, not getting stuck in your story. I'm already giving points in case you were waiting. I'm already giving points. So content creation is important. How you tell your story. Don't just tell the story, but show the story. And then also
Mhm.
don't get stuck in your story because it matters so much
Woo.
to us. We get stuck in the pain. You ever watched a movie or a TV series, LaShonda, and it's just
Yeah.
this dude can never get up on his luck. We like it got let's talk about The Shy. Any of the Shy fans out there, we was like, yo, when is with the main character? I can't remember his name, but he had done killed somebody. I mean, his story was just so exhausting. And we was like,
Mm.
listen, there has to be a turnaround. I think his name was Ronald. There has to be a turnaround. And then
Yeah.
ultimately he did experience a turnaround. So we got to make sure that we don't get stuck in our story. And I'm talking about on paper and in
Yeah.
real life. Because if
Woo.
you're not careful, you'll continue to walk out what you used to be and what you used to do and what they said about you. You
Mhm.
got to change the narrative. All right. So know that you have a story. You listen. What certifies you, what qualifies you to share the story is that not only did you experience it, but you also lived to tell it. I'm not. I don't see myself as a survivor. I didn't just survive, but I'm learning how to thrive in the midst of the things that I had experienced in life,
Come
and you
on
can
now.
do the same thing. So it's all about mindset, right? Mindset is so important when we talk about confidence and owning your story and all of those things are so important. And I want to start by saying you first got to be clear on how you see yourself, not who Jay-Z said many are not who they depict to be. So you don't
Mm,
want to just be, I see my client Chatney. What's up, Chatney? Thank you for supporting, baby doll. You don't want to just put out this image on social media or put out this false work in a book, but you want to be honest and you want to be transparent, because transparency is what heals. But also in that process, make sure before you start writing the book that you submit to your own journey, because you can't bring people to a place that you've never experienced. It's kind of hard to do that. And so again, know that you're qualified to share the story, to share the information, to teach on the product or whatever it is that you're doing. Know that you're qualified. You really have to have a self awareness, and there
yes.
needs to be self confidence, and there needs to be a reminder that, yo, I'm called to do this, and a legacy. Watch this. We often talk about we write books so that we can leave a legacy, and your legacy is every life you touch. Our
Mm,
legacy does not just stop with our children, but your
yes.
legacy is every life that you touch. And so my books and your books will go places that our feet may never tread. Come
Come
on.
on.
There's some places I ain't never been, but my books are there and I receive the testimonials. So today I want to share 5 determining factors of whether or not someone will purchase your book.
Write
Five.
this
I'm
down,
giving all
y'all.
5 of them. And this is from my coaching program called Write the Book Already. It's called
Come
Write the Book
on.
Already, How to Write a Best-Selling Book in 7 Days. So when we're talking about writing like a boss, you have your posture, your positioning is so important. Your posture is so important. So number one, the colors of your book cover. Colors stimulate emotion. So you have
Yes.
to know your target audience, know who, here's the deal. Write as if you're talking to one person. We like to talk as if we're talking to the masses.
Mm,
And although
right.
the masses are going to read your book, one of the greatest compliments that I receive as an author, one of them is, I felt like when I read your book, Carla, when I read Successfully Single, The Power in Waiting, I feel like we're sitting down at Starbucks, over a cup of tea, having a conversation. So your language matters, but the colors of the book. So if, for example, with my new book, right, called Life After Betrayal, this book is not just for women. So all of The Power in Waiting was pink, Successfully Single was pink, so I wanted to make sure I used the color that would also resonate with men. I use language that would
Mm,
also resonate with men. With this coaching program, it's not just for women. So I use blue. You see what I'm saying? So your colors that you use, colors stimulate emotion. And so whatever it is that you're wanting them to feel, keep that in mind when you determine the colors of your book cover. Number two,
write that down, y'all. Somebody could transcribe for us. That would be amazing. Number one, the color of your book.
right, the colors that you choose, the colors that you choose. And here's the deal. We say people don't judge a book by its cover, but that's not true. We do. We do. On the flip side, I found some powerful teachings and trainers from some of the most small, simple, not as visually appealing resources. However, I'm just saying, because we want to make a profit, we don't want to wing it. We don't want to wing it. And
Right.
people are emotional. This is the truth of the matter. People buy off of emotions. Come on, y'all. How many of y'all are emotional spenders? Like you having a rough day, you going to the mall, they getting all your money. We're gonna work on that. But it's just the truth of the matter, right? We're going to talk about it. So, number two is your book title. Your book title is so important because the book title combined with the subtitle is the message that you're conveying to your audience, right? So, how many books have we picked up and was like, oh my God, first you were drawn by the color of the book. Second, it was the title. You're like, oh my God, this spoke to me. And then as we journey on through the other 5 points, you may have got lost in some of those points and you put the book back. We want you to win in these top 5 areas. So it
Come
makes your
on.
book a page turner, and I can't put this book down. And another thing we want to think about, view yourself as the customer. Put yourself in the customer position. Like, what captures your attention when you're scrolling on Amazon, Books a Million, or you're walking through Barnes and Noble? What determines whether you pick a book up, put the book back down, whether you immediately purchase it, whether you pre-order? What are some determining factors? And I promise you, you will fall, whether it's someone you already support and you're like, listen, I buy everything. Some authors are already established, and that's the place that you want to be. And I have clients or customers where no matter, women in my community, it doesn't matter what I drop, they gonna get it when it becomes
Right?
available.
Your
So
true
your
fan.
book, yeah, your true fans, your true followers, and they become the mouthpieces for your brand, for your business, and that also is a part of your legacy. So let's look at it. So life after betrayal, right? Okay, so you got the title, life after betrayal. Then the subtitle is leading them to what the journey is about. And remember, your books are to take people on a journey. I don't want you to just teach me and tell me. Tell me about you. Tell me about why this subject matter is so powerful and dear to your heart. Tell me how it worked for you first. Tell me, include testimonials. Tell me other people that it helped. So, life after betrayal, how to heal, forgive, and move on. Right? So you are clear on, okay, she gonna teach me how to heal, how to forgive, how to move on. And if you're not captured by life after betrayal, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna put the book back. But if it speaks to you, you're gonna continue these next steps that we're gonna talk about. Let's use another one. Write the book already. Go ahead.
I was going to say that I love how you're putting this together, because one of the things that you guys have to understand is not just about being an author, but we are authorpreneurs. Being in a space where you're not just in it to just say, okay, I put my stuff out there one time, I'm done, but creating something that you can build into a business, right? Creating something in where you're going to reach as many people as possible. So Carla said, number one, looking at the colors you choose. Number two, making sure that your title, it's really going to pull people in and it connects with them. These are powerful points that I need you guys to be aware of. So make sure that you're writing these down. I love that you guys are transcribing. Make sure that you don't forget that Carla is one of the amazing speakers as part of our book business virtual summit over on sistasense.com/BB Summit. If somebody could drop the link into the comment box so y'all can see, that would be amazing for me. SistaSense.com/BB Summit. In addition to the live virtual that we're doing on Saturday, we've got some amazing 25 plus trainings for you guys. Carla's going to have a featured training on writing like a boss. Plus, you're also going to get to tune into her replay on how to turn your hobby into a profitable business. Another amazing session that she led as part of the SistaSense Power Circle. So you're going to get a lot of information today. We're on strategy number 2, which is thinking about your title. But I also want to make sure that you don't forget to register over at sistasense.com/BB Summit for the book business experience. This is about creating experiences for your community and learning how to become a better authorpreneur. Just wanted to share
That's
that
right.
as well.
That's right. Absolutely. So another title, right? We have Write the Book Already. The subtitle is How to Write a Best-Selling Book in 7 Days. You see how specific it is? It's very intentional. So it's going to speak directly to that target audience, right? All right. Number 3, then after people look at your, if they're either, mesmerized by your color, maybe their favorite color is red. Maybe their favorite color is blue. It doesn't, people have reasons to why they love the colors that they love, right? Number 2 is your book title and subtitle. Don't forget that part. The subtitle helps sell the book. So if
Yes.
you just got a title but no subtitle, your work is half done, sis. We got to finish it. Number 3
Right.
are your table of contents. Most people do this when they get a book. They look at it, they look at the cover, and then they usually flip it over and then they open it up. So if you're sold by the title, if the colors stimulate, they resonate with you, you love it. Sometimes people like stuff just because it's pretty. And you don't,
Yeah.
I always say, you want a pretty brand, but you also want a profitable brand. So just because it's pretty, that's the first step. But now, is it Is it relevant? Is it good content, or was it just pretty? So when you're
Mm.
developing your tape, yeah, when you don't want to just a pretty brand. Like, you ever been on some websites, you're like, oh, that's pretty, oh, that's cute, but then it's hard to spend money with them because you can't really tell who they are, what they do, or you know what I'm saying, or you can't really see the value. So you don't want to drop the ball, guys, when you share your table of contents. Your
Question
table of
for you,
content.
Carla. Where to buy the book?
Yes, carlacannon.com. All of my
There
products,
we
the
go.
coaching program I talked about today, carlacannon.com, 10-step guide to write like a boss ebook. That's also available at Carla Cannon. All things carlacannon.com. So when you write, and thank you so much for that question. When you're creating your table of contents, you want to make just everything you do, think about the reader. Get yourself off your mind and think about the reader. So I'm going to just give you some examples, right? In Life After Betrayal, we have chapter 1, the confrontation. Next, snatch your power back. Understanding grief and abandonment. Forgiving yourself. Healing wounds that still hurt. The 4 D's of destruction. Blessing blockers. Break the cycle. Becoming more self-aware. You see those titles? You see how they resonate? When you think about write the book already, it's broken down into 3 parts, right? The first part is steps to writing your book. The second part is steps to publishing your book. The third part is steps to marketing your book. You see how simplistic that is and how clear. And then I
Super
break it
simple.
down where each one has table of contents. Guys, you can always use other resources in your arsenal to help with your layout. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You don't want to copy people's, work, but you can be inspired by it. Like, for this book, if I could be honest, when I wrote this back in 2016, 2014, I was actually inspired by Steve Harvey's Act Like a Success book. I love the way he had like his full picture on it. I love the way I modeled. Can we be honest? Come on. I
Yes.
modeled how he had the breakdown. I really love that. And then I made it my own. So you can be inspired. That's why it's important who you follow on social media, Facebook,
Oh,
Instagram, Twitter, so that it can inspire you to get going, to show up. And I was like, oh, I really like how he did that. I'm going to put a spin on it. And that's what I'm going to do. So your table of contents are so important because these are all selling tools. These are selling strategies. Number 4, your introduction. So after I love your colors, after the book title, I'm like, oh, this is speaking to me. Your table of contents, don't skip over the introduction. Some introductions are the best way to use this book, or introduction may also be a prelude, which is a backstory to the information that they're about to share. I always read the introduction to books because it helps me understand what's about to happen, and either I'm sold or I'm not during that part. So during the introduction, you
mm.
really want to think about it, and you're speaking again directly to the reader. Tell them what to expect. If you have journal pages, if you have quotes that you're pulling out, if you have points to ponder at the end, walk them through whatever your format. People like to be told what to do. You got to tell them, hey, at the end of each section,
Yep.
don't just run on. Make sure you journal. Make sure you don't skip steps. Make sure you don't rush through whatever it is you want them to know. Tell them.
Right.
The introduction is also a great way to introduce yourself. Come
Yeah.
on. If nobody knows who you are, don't just try to teach me about finances. But for example, I like to use Dave Ramsey. Financial Peace University. He's my financial coach. What resonated with me when I first signed up for to read his book, right? To take that course, because books, and why am I mentioning the course? Because then you can repurpose. Your books can turn into e-classes, e-courses, live events, coaching programs, a whole university. I'm just saying.
And
Those
that's what
are some more points.
entrepreneurship is about. Being an
Yeah,
author
you can.
for taking that book and leveraging it into other
There you
spaces when
go.
you're doing those courses and other programs, etc.
Absolutely. So when Dave Ramsey came out, right, I was excited about the points that he was going to share, but I wanted to hear the story. Like, okay, Dave, this is good, but tell me what's the way. When he came out there with that wooden table and he began to tell the story of how him and his wife, come on, what's the story behind the message? That's what goes the introduction. When he began to
Yes.
share how his marriage was almost over, they had piles of bills and da 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 da, and make sure that your message and examples that you're using in your resource are congruent to the message and the or congruent to the tips and strategies that you're sharing in the book. They must be in alignment. right? Just
Yeah.
like I'm mentioning Dave Ramsey because I was sold into his program, not by his tips and strategies, not by the principles, but I was sold on the story. I was like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Y'all did what? So you want to make sure that when you're doing your introduction, don't hold back. Don't get stuck in the story, but don't hold back. I've seen introductions, one page, I've seen them 10 pages. And let me say this as authors, a lot of times we, or even aspiring authors, a lot of times we are so concerned with, well, how many pages should this be? And how many pages should that be? This is what I teach my clients and my students. Listen, they say, well, how do I know when I'm done with a chapter? I said, you know, when you're done, when you poured out everything you have concerning that subject matter, that's when you're done. I don't be like, oh, this should be this pages or your outline should be this number of pages. It's like, nah, be concise, be clear, be detailed. And then once you're done, you're done. And if it's too much information, because you don't want to overwhelm your audience, then break it up into volumes. You know, some of my books can be considered sequels, like Beloved, Experiencing God as Abba in a Fatherless Generation. The sequel to that is Life After Betrayal, How to Heal, Forgive, and Move
Mhm.
On. So you don't have to put all of it in one thing, but you
One
do
big
want to
thing.
give enough meat where your book becomes a page turner and you become a point of reference regarding your particular subject matter. Number five, and finally, so after you got them with the colors, you know, they love the table of the title and the subtitle. Their the table of contents resonates with them, and then the introduction, they like, ooh, child. The back cover, and it's not in a particular order. Usually it's front cover, back cover, you know, that type of thing. But for the sake, child, let's just roll with it. So the
Yeah.
back cover, when you know, I've seen a lot of new authors get this wrong, LaShonda. They get to writing on this back cover and they talking to themselves. I'm like, I've seen some people where the back of the book is just all about them. And this is what I like to say. Listen, boo, until you become an Oprah and a TDJ and all these people that don't have to introduce themselves, you still need to sell your book. You still
Yeah.
need to tell us why we need this book. I'm 12 books in and I still use the same format. I tend to start it with a question. You know, do you currently find yourself stuck? Come on, this on the back of Life After
Mhm.
Betrayal. We still
That's a
talking about stimulating
simple
emotions. We
strategy.
still
Simple,
talking
effective
about, yes,
strategy.
simple strategies. Are you struggling to forgive someone who hurt you? Has it been years since a betrayal and you can't seem to move on? I'm talking directly to the reader. And then if they're like, yes, 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 this is where I am, even if they don't want to deal with it, they still can't put it down because now they're curious to know what else is she saying. So then I get into, if you answer yes, da 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 da, within the pages of this book, these are the bullet points. Tell them what they're gonna get. Because some people may not make it to your table of contents. Some people may not make it to your introduction. They start here and then they turn over and then tell them what they're gonna get. And then you'll buy. So listen, the content for the back of the book should be like this. Your bio should be like this. I've seen it the opposite with a bio. People don't care. They don't care nothing about what you've done. No, they want to know what's in it for me. So when
For
you're talking
me.
about selling strategies for your books, you may love it. You may think you are the best thing since sliced bread, baby, and some red Kool-Aid. But people on the outside that don't know you, they're like, well, what is this gonna do for me? Like, if I can't see, how is this gonna help me now? How is this gonna help the pain that's aching in my soul? How is this gonna, always ask yourself, what is keeping them up at night? Is this gonna stop them from keeping staying up at night? And so the answer is yes. And then I end it with, you can be free. Let me show you how. Oh, come on here. You can be free. Let me show you how.
Drop the mic.
So these are the selling points that you really want to keep in mind. And there's so many more. And I'm grateful for LaShonda for letting me share. But for a recap again, number one, five things that determine whether or not someone will purchase your book: the colors of the book, the cover, right? Book title, uh, table of contents, introduction, back cover, and we can keep going. Proper editing. We hate reading books with a whole lot of errors. It's like we trying to rock with you, sis. We trying to understand what you're saying, but you let your little nephew edit the book because you felt like you didn't have a budget. Let me tell you something. You want to, and I'm gonna say this in closing. You want to invest. If you don't have the proper resources to get it done, save your money. You don't want to go the cheap rate out. You want to invest in improper editing. You want to do that because that is a part of your credibility. And if people can't, like if I think about one of the books I wrote in 2013, I kind of did it myself. I was a new author. I didn't really know what I was doing. And I thought about, I was like, oh, I'll need to go back and redo that. Man, I left it alone. Sometimes, now listen, I'm talking to those of you that are long gone. Don't keep going back to the old stuff. It is what it is. Let people see your growth and your maturing process. Let them see you evolve as an author and as an entrepreneur. So I really hope that these tips that I shared assisted you today. I really, really do. Of course, if you and I'll let LaShonda take it from here, but I definitely have plenty of resources available at carlacannon.com. Thank you, LaShonda.
Thank you so much. I mean, we are going to keep rocking and rolling because, as you know, in addition to the live book business virtual summit on Saturday, remember somebody dropped that link into the comment box for me so y'all can see www.sistasense.com/BB Summit, right? We've got live sessions, and we've got the Authorpreneur School with amazing speakers like my girl Carla. She's going to continue to talk to you guys about strategies to write like a boss. I love when you talked about really sharing your story because Kim Coles also has a session and she talks about just that, different strategies to sharing your
Mm-hmm.
story. Diane Taylor, she's the creator of Tailor Made Publishing. One of the things that she talked about was how she was going to bootstrap it, right? And her husband said, look, you're going to get money, you're going to get investment capital to start this business. And she did. And she said, you know what, getting that first $10,000 allowed her to get the web designer, allowed her to do the editing that you talked about, and shave off half the time that she would have if she did everything by herself. So there's so many different amazing speakers sharing different levels of what it takes to write like a boss. But all of those elements that you just suggested, even if you do start off and you're doing things on your own, at some point you got to elevate, right? At some point you got to know that in growing, you have to be able to build a team of people who can
Mm-hmm.
support you, of people who do it better than you to make you look better than you thought you could ever look, right?
That's right.
And that's something that you've got to keep in mind as well. Her first book, Diane, she shares her story, and you got to definitely listen to that audio. She shares her story about publishing, and her first book was put in the hands of former President Barack Obama. She's got a great story, and she talks about that, being able to get your books in places like Barnes and Nobles, understanding that value is important. And when you take the time to create something valuable, right? Carla said, I love you, sis, but we can't be reading through all these errors. You got to make sure that your editing is right. You got to make sure that you really come with it in your back cover, and you're leaning in and you're telling people about what the book is and what they're going to get out of it. That value that you put into each of these pieces, it's going to set you up for success. You never know who is going to go and put that book that you have into the hands of somebody you never thought would be reading your book. So those are some things that I want you to keep in mind. I did see an amazing comment here that I want to share. Let's see, let me see if it pops up on the screen really quickly. I am a publisher from London, England, and this is super inspiration. I've booked my ticket. I love learning. Thanks, sisters. Thank you so much. Awesome to have both our local and international ladies in the virtual building. This was so needed. This is amazing. Thank y'all for participating and being here. Again, we've got a full week of live stream sessions, and I want to make sure that you guys can stay connected because Carla has some amazing books to help support you emotionally and also as an entrepreneur, right? When it comes to writing and exploring the things that you can do to build your best business. So, Carla, make sure that you let them know once again how to stay connected to you and what you're working on right now.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much. And I just love everything that SistaSense represents because it just lets us know that, listen, as women, especially women of color, we all
Yes.
have a space. We all have a place. And for me, it's really all about being the healthiest version of myself as a coach, as a publisher, as an author, as a mom. Let's put those
Yeah.
titles aside. As a woman, as a mom, having character, integrity, operating in kingdom principles. That's pretty much, who I am and what I do. And I love, love, love the congruency of Women of Standard Network and SistaSense. So I'm super excited. I have plenty of resources available, but the few I want to share today are the ones that I use in my training. So 10-step guide to write like a boss. This is printed out, but it's an ebook. So this literally walks you step by step by step. Like when I say step by step, this is when you're ready, you got your Word document open, you got your laptop, and you are ready to write. I tell you exactly what should be page 1, what should be page 2. Like it's that simplistic. Because that's how I learn.
Sometimes
Like
we
don't
need
tell
that
me.
hand holding.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like step by step by step. And if you go to carlacannon.com and you click on books, you'll see it there. Also, I have a coaching program that includes this resource called Write the Book Already. And what's in this 10 step, no, this is How to Write a Best-Selling Book in 7 Days. The difference between this resource and the ebook is this resource includes the prerequisites to writing. I feel, creating an outline, and it walks you through content creation. It walks you through all of those different steps to writing the book. And then I teach you that process of writing it in 7 days. So that's what this is. That's available at carlacannon.com. Lastly, on September the 11th, I released a new resource. This is my 12th book called Life After Betrayal: How to Heal, Forgive, and Move On. And this book is available on Amazon. You can also go to my website, carlacannon.com. So again, thank you so much, man. And I'm excited just to be able to impart into other women, leave a legacy, and be unapologetic about sharing the experiences and just not being afraid to share the things that I've learned along the way. I love sessions like this because it sharpens us as entrepreneurs. You got some people that's like, oh, I'm already an author. Oh, man, I was a part of a business conference a couple of weeks ago, and I always tune into the publishing and the book because stuff changes all the time.
Yes,
So
it
I don't be
does.
like, oh, I
Woo.
don't wrote 12 books. Oh, I don't know. You got to be humble, sis, because things change all the time. And I love listening to other publishers. I love listening to other authors because you learn things that you may didn't know that can help you as well as your client. So thank you so much, LaShonda.
Absolutely. You always have to have a lifelong love of learning. A lifelong love
Absolutely.
of learning. I don't know if you follow Carla on Instagram or Facebook. You definitely have to. She is always doing amazing lives where she's taking you both inside of her books and some of the books that she absolutely loves, because that love of learning is what keeps us fresh and keeps us creative. Come on now. Y'all need to clap it up. You need to congratulate Miss Carla Cannon for her latest publication. The fact that she's done 12 and she is not stopping, y'all. This is just the beginning, right? This is inspiration. This is motivation. This is showing you that you can come through and you can create this space where you are consistently sharing your story, and you just next one, on to the next one, on to the next one, sharing that amazingness with others. I want you guys to make sure that number one, you're following Carla. You go and take a look at her platform, her community, Women of Standard. It's just an amazing space to be in as well. I'm going to say this because I know she's got a lot of stuff to do, but I need y'all to know that the first time I came across Carla was online, and she was ministering. She had a video and she was just like, look, I'm going to get on my mic. I'm going to do what I need to do. Because somebody needs to hear this today. Right. And I needed to hear what she had to say. Right. Thank God that we were in the same place and we could connect and work together on multiple levels here in Greenville, North Carolina. Because at the end of the day, I always say the success of your business depends upon the company that you keep. So we want to make sure in SistaSense and in Women of Standard, you are in good company.
That's
You
right.
have to be in a space where you surround yourself with the right people. One of my favorite phrases is you can change the people around you or change the people around you. Okay. Hopefully you get what I say when I say that. Change the people around you some way, or you better change the people around you. Okay. You can do what you need to do to go up and glow up. And make sure that you understand that this journey that you are on is going to require you to get on that mic. It's going to require you to do that video because somebody needs to hear you. And if
Absolutely.
Carla didn't do that, I would not have heard her. So hopefully you can take
Mhm.
this as inspiration and motivation. I can't wait for you guys to tune in and learn even more because, like I said, there's a training in the Authorpreneur School that you get when if you sign up, you could just sign up for the live for the virtual summit, or you can get live plus the replays. As a bonus, you get the Authorpreneur School with over 25 plus trainings from amazing speakers. We've got Kim Coles talking about your gifts. We've got Carla Cannon. She talks about not only how to write like a business, but another session on how to turn that hobby into a profitable business. Come on now, because that's what a lot of y'all need to learn how to do, right? Transition. And I've been able to watch Carla as she transitioned from the 9 to 5 to a full-time entrepreneur and business owner. How amazing is that, right? I know a lot of you, especially in this climate, are looking to transition, and Carla shares her story and how she did that as well. So there are a lot of great trainings as part of the Authorpreneur School that you get as a bonus when you get the replays of the Book Business Virtual Summit. Plus, that day I am hosting a really awesome session on how to write the book, particularly a starter guide, because some of you need to start with something small that you can put out there for your audience. So we're going to do starter guides and resource guides, little things that you can add to your branding inventory. So there are things that I want to teach you. There are things that Carla wants to teach you, and all of the amazing speakers. I feel like we can all learn from each other, and hopefully you guys
Mhm.
can take not only of what we have to say of today, but from yourself, right? Internally, what are some things
Mhm.
that you know that you've learned from your experience that you want to share with the world? So any final notes, Carla, that you want to share as we're wrapping up today?
Yeah, man, just ditto to everything that you said. I want to say this. Just believe in yourself. Know that your message matters. And watch this. If you're out there and you're still asking yourself, like, should I write a book? Do I have what it takes? Listen, you got to be reminded that your story was never about you. The things that you experienced was never about you, but it was all
Mm,
about who you're called to. So your story, your book, because I often say my books serve as a lifeline to women, serve as a lifeline to other people. They're not just words on a page, but there are people who have read my books and they email me or they leave reviews on Amazon and they say, this book saved my life. You sharing your story. Wow, I now know I can get out. I now know that I can go forward. I now know my life has a purpose because our stories mirror one another. So just remember that it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger than you. It's so much
yeah.
bigger than where you are. I'm from a small town, little country girl from Greenville, North Carolina. I now live in Charlotte, but it didn't matter. We got an airport. I went where I needed to go, did what I needed to do, and I showed up
Right?
online. So just know that your message matters. Can you type that below? Say my message matters and what you
Yes. Come
have.
on, y'all.
Imagine if you don't show up, just like LaShonda said, I showed up and therefore she got what she needed that day. How many people are you robbing of their destiny, robbing of their, principles and strategies and tips and resources and guides that you have in your belly? Come on, it's the ninth month. Can I get spiritual for a moment? It's the ninth month,
Come
and
on.
nine in the spirit represents birthing. So it's time to push, baby, push. Come out of this pandemic better. It is possible to prosper in the midst of a pandemic, but you got to get in position. When we about to have the baby, we got to open them legs wide and we got to get down. You got to
Come
guard
on
your
now.
circle. So when LaShonda was talking about, it's all about your connection. Sometimes it's just you and God. Sometimes it's just you and him by yourself, and you got to embrace that season and you still push, even if ain't nobody else around you, even if don't nobody else get it, even if don't nobody else see it, as long as you see it, you believe it, the remnant
Yes.
will come. Those that you are assigned to, how can they find you if you don't show up? So you got to remember that your message matters and you have something to offer. What are you going to do with your dash? We all have one. We all have an expiration date. When we came into 2020, none of us knew Kobe was going to leave in January. We had no idea, right? We had no idea, like, wow, like we started 2020 heavy. We talking about pandemic. Let's go back. Like Kobe, who would have thought? We think
Yeah.
sometimes we're invincible, but y'all, all of us are gonna die one day. And I don't wanna, I ain't trying to bring it to you like that, but it's the truth. So
Just
what
keeping
you
it
do with
real.
your dash matters. So make it a lifetime of purpose. Put it out there. Stop letting fear cripple you. Do it afraid if you have to, but no matter what, make sure that you do it. So remember, it's birthing season. Push, baby, push, and know that your story matters, and your book will serve, and your business will serve as a lifeline to somebody else who didn't feel like they could do it, didn't feel like they can go forward, but because you showed up, you encouraged them to do the same thing. So would love to have you join me on all platforms, Carla R. Cannon. So don't forget the R. It's Carla R. Cannon, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, whichever is your favorite platform. So I ain't mean to preach, LaShonda, but you know who I am is who I am, and I gotta be who I am. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
I
So
love it.
thank you.
I love it.
I'm just
I'm
saying, I'm
listening
a
to you.
kingdom
I
girl
was
all
looking for
day.
a quote. I
Go
was
ahead.
looking for this quote. And especially during these times, I wish I could find it, but I'm a paraphrase. And at the end of the day, it simply says that, you know, procrastination is the audacity and believing that God is going to give you another chance, a second chance to do what you were supposed to do today. And I'm paraphrasing. I wish I had the actual quote verbatim, but that's the reality of the situation, right? We think, well, you
Mhm.
know, I know I got to write this book. I know I got to do this thing. I know I got to build this business tomorrow, next Monday, next Saturday, next week, today. Because today is a gift. And that's why they call it the present, right? Your message
Come
matters,
on.
today matters. And when you procrastinate, you assuming that God gonna give you tomorrow. Tomorrow is not given to any of us, right? Which is why we have to make the most of today. And I'm making the most of
And
today by
LaShonda,
being with an amazing sister girl like my girl. Yes.
look, and watch this. And when you have that attitude that, oh, God gonna give me tomorrow, that's a form of pride because you don't know it's by his grace. And I want to share this. I love, love,
Yes.
love that quote. One of the quotes I have my students at Trailblazers Coaching Academy is my 12-month mentorship program. And I have them recite this every time they submit their homework. Excuses are monuments of nothingness. They build bridges to nowhere. Those who use these tools of incompetence seldom become anything but nothing at all. So why put off for tomorrow
Mm.
what you can do today? Start writing now. Get the
Yeah.
resources now. Show up now. Impact lives now where you are. So for some
Now.
reason we feel we gotta have a certain number of accomplishments or things under our belt. Show up. Use what you have where you are and let the chips fall as they may, because you can impact lives right now in your lane and on your level, and don't let your own mind talk you out of it.
Come on now. I mean,
I'm
this is what
done.
y'all need to hear. Somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to hear this. I always say you can find a way or find an excuse, but you cannot do both. So hopefully within this community, you can find your ways and you can find the motivation that you need to do to turn that message into a movement now. So I want to say once again, thank you. Thank you so much, y'all, for participating with us today. We have my girl Carla in the building. We're going to have so much
Hey,
fun as part of the book business experience. We need some music. I need to bring some music
look,
in
I got
sometime so
music
I
in
can
my
have
head,
us
girl. You got
rocking
me
out,
over
right?
here like, hey. I teach
Because
my
you feel
students
it
like
when you
rock to
feel
your
that
own
vibe
beat.
in your spirit. Rocking to your own beat, building your business, bossing up. That's what you got to do to keep it moving, keep it grooving. As I mentioned before, it's all about the grow up and the glow up, y'all. Thank you once again, Carla. Mwah. I love you for free. I'll see you guys right here tomorrow for another dose of direction. So, of course, don't forget to turn on alerts and notifications so you can see when we're live, so you can jump on here live with me. All right, y'all. Till tomorrow, take care. Mwah. Bye.